What's up, everybody? Welcome in to another edition of the Hoops Betting Hour presented by Pickswise and powered by FanDuel. I am the big man on campus. It is Monday, May 3rd, 2021. We are back another week, another dollar. We completed our week yesterday, back for the second week of the Hoops Betting Hour, breaking down the NBA card for today. We continue to take steps towards the playoffs. A lot to get to today, an 8-game slate. We will get to it in just a little bit. Let's welcome in our guest for today, Monday. We had him last week. We have him again today, the great Blackjack Fletcher. Blackjack, how you doing?
Fantastic, brother. How about you?
Pretty good, pretty good. How was your weekend? Kentucky Derby, we know you're a big horse guy. How did that go for you?
It was a big weekend, man. It was a big weekend. The Kentucky Derby, great race, and in a shocking upset, Bob Baffert wins the Kentucky Derby yet again.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's just getting to be ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, it's a great day of racing. It was really nice to see a lot of people back at the racetrack.
Yep.
51,000 people at Churchill Downs. That is the largest event in the United States since this pandemic started. So it really, to me, was nice to see a large crowd back together again and kind of feel like, all right, we can do this.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. It was nice to see for once. We also have, the NBA. They'll be getting the playoffs to start to see some fans there. So slowly but surely getting back to normal, at least we hope. But we got a lot to do today, NBA time. I'm coming off a good day, 2-0 in the NBA. How about that? 5-3 on the weekend. Very happy. And I'll continue to say it. Last three nights, I backed Portland twice. I've hit them both times. Liking this group. They are back again tonight. But Portland with a nice win last night against the Boston Celtics, who, when you look at the starting five, everyone had a negative plus-minus. It was not a great game for the Celtics. And how about this, Blackjack? I continue to zero in on Seth Curry. Seth Curry over 9.5 points. He scores 22 last night, goes 6 for 6 from three. It was an easy winner. I think it hit by halftime. So I was very happy with both games. We bring you back today. Hopefully you can do your thing. We can do our thing. We welcome everyone watching. We welcome everyone checking the show out after the fact throughout the day. Thanks for watching. As always, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you like the show, comment on the show. We continue, and what I'm happy about with this show is the subscriber base continues to go up. That was the goal when we did this show and started this show back in March. So let's get into it. Blackjack, how have you been doing overall in the NBA? Have you been doing well?
Pretty well, man. Yeah, I mean, the NBA has been a solid sport for me this season. I'll say this. I've been doing so well in the NBA that I really haven't even dug into baseball at all. Normally at this time of year, I'm starting to look at baseball. I've been doing well enough with hockey in the NBA that I haven't even bothered with it.
Good for you. Yeah, that's great. A lot of people have struggled in the NBA, at least recently, but hopefully the weekend that I had was a sign of things to come. I didn't have a great week leading up to it, but hopefully we just kind of rock. I've always done fairly well in this league as far as, I've always shared it just personally and bet it on my own, but let's get into it. Let's see how we do here today. If you're in the comment section, I know people occasionally would jump in there, say hello, let us know what you're on today. Let's start it out. Washington Wizards, the hot Washington Wizards hosting the Indiana Pacers. Total 246, high total. One of the highest totals of the season, frankly.
Yeah.
But Washington, how can we not talk about them? They have been on fire. They have covered 13 of 16 overall. This team has been very fun to watch behind guys like Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook. This group is the fastest team in the NBA. So when you look at the total, there's no one faster than Washington. In fact, Indiana is right on their heels. They're fourth in the NBA in possessions per game. So you have to envision. We obviously see the total this high. But I got to tell you, Blackjack, I looked at this total and said, anything up to 247, I probably had some interest in. When you look at both these teams, just really struggle in the defensive end. And when you look at Washington, they've struggled all year defensively. We know they're going to go downhill from a pace standpoint, and they make for a lot of high-scoring games. But when you look at Indiana, that's been really my thought here on this game. When you look at Indiana, they've played 16 games this year without Miles Turner. In those games, they've went 8-8. But in those games, from an over standpoint, 12-4 to the over.
Yep.
And every opponent has scored over 122 points. The averages are coming out to around 240 per game in those games. But, I mean, opponents are just destroying this defense. And when you look at Indiana, I think at this point they're almost forced to just kind of go fast. They don't have the guard play, though, sadly, and that's the issue. I almost wish Brogdon was in this game because I think he'd help considerably. But Karis LeVert's done a nice job. He scored 18 or more, 12 over the last 16 games, so he's really played well. I'm not running to the window to bet this just because the total is just so high. But I think Washington has no trouble scoring. I kind of lean them here at home just because they've been so good against the number. If I had to zero in this game, I'd almost lean over the number, but you have a very high price here. This almost screams like 128, 124, something like that.
I agree with you. I think the total is at this point where that number is sitting 246 or so. I mean, it's kind of a coin toss to me. I mean, I think the number's right on, right? Like you said, we're looking at a game where both teams are likely in the 120s. It's just a question of whether you get there or not. I think the value here is on the Wizards. I like the Wizards in this spot. Listen, the Pacers are not a good basketball team this year when it comes to covering point spreads away from home. They're bad at it, okay? They are just not good ATS on the road. I think the Wizards, you hit the nail on the head, right? I'm willing to throw out the last game for both of these teams because the Pacers had a blowout win over Oklahoma City, which is in an open tank at this point.
Yeah.
And, you know, the Wizards suffer a loss in their last outing, but Dallas is one of the hottest teams in the NBA right now. So, you know, and even in that, it was a 1-point loss, right? So it's not like they got blown out. I like the Wizards here. I think the Wizards are playing their best basketball of the season right now. It's a short number. They're at home. I think the Pacers bounced from the last game. Give me the Wizards minus the 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about it the other night. I mean, for the most part, I mean, they did get Sabonis back, but for the most part, this is a Indiana team really struggling with depth right now. Don't necessarily have the guard play. Yeah, they are. And you mentioned it. The ATS stuff is really hard to watch. I mean, outside of Cleveland and I believe Houston, this is the worst ATS team in the league. 26-37 Indiana against the number. This is a bad team all around. And you know what? It's not surprising because when you look at Indiana, been without Turner, been without Sabonis. You know, when you look at last year, TJ Warren hasn't played at all. You know, you lose certain players. So this is a team that's really undergone a lot of change. And they've been the worst for it. So, yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think you just kind of ride Washington for all they are right now. You know, they covered the other night as a dog. Let's see if they can't cover as a favorite here at home. I don't disagree with you on the side or the total. But 246 is high. I don't know the highest number we have this year, but I have to imagine that's got to be close.
It's up there, yeah.
Yeah, to the highest total we've seen. Next one, the Toilet Bowl. Detroit laying 2 against the Orlando Magic. Total 210.5. Look, I don't have a ton on this game. I've said before, and I'll say it again. I don't really get involved a ton with these teams as it is. I kind of like Detroit in the role of like getting 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. But I'm not interested in laying points as a favorite. Orlando is dreadful on both ends. These are two bad teams. I think the goal is to lose. I will say, and I'll point this out, Detroit is plus money this year against the number. They have been good. But again, a lot of those covers have been as an underdog. Laying points, I just don't trust them. I don't want to back Orlando either. I will point this out. We also talked the other night on Isaiah Stewart, okay? I think it was Saturday. Ski Prophet and I, Blackjack, zeroed in on a prop involving Stewart. His rebound total, Blackjack, was 12.5 in one game. I played it. He only had 2 rebounds. Now, keep in mind, he has had 10 or more rebounds in 6 of 9 games. Tonight, his rebound prop is 10.5. Little bit better. I'd expect after a bad game for him to come out and play pretty well. If I had to zero in on anything, I'd maybe look towards a rebounding prop with Isaiah Stewart. But all in all, this is a game I'm staying far away from. Yeah,
I mean, if you're betting this game, you should probably call the gamblers hotline because like there's a problem here. Like there's a real problem here. There's nothing of interest here, right? Not side, not total. Like you said, the Pistons are not a bad team ATS. That's because they usually catch an 11, right? Not laying points. Right. Can't lay points with them. And 2's not enough for me to be interested in Orlando either. Great. And then the total, you're talking about what, 210 here? Dude, these teams have both had games in the last couple of weeks where they can't crack 100 multiple times. Like, there's no value here on anything. Turn the page.
Yeah, that's a really well done point. I think that's something that we have to talk about as gamblers. When you're looking in these kind of spots, you're not getting a good enough return to sit there and back Orlando. You just aren't. I mean, if I'm getting some plus money back, or I'm getting some point, like if I'm getting 5 here,
exactly.
Orlando.
If this is plus 4.5, I'm taking Orlando on the money line to take a shot at it, right?
Yeah.
But like, I'm not. What are you giving me here? I mean, you're giving me on the money line Orlando plus 110. No, there's no chance. And 2 points is not nearly enough to get me interested here. Like this is maybe one of the worst games all season.
Yeah, I'll forget about it. I won't even look at it, and I won't even care about what happens tomorrow because, again, both these teams are bad. I will say, and I'll keep saying this, I mean, both teams fight. They play hard. These are not This is not Houston, okay, or Oklahoma City. These teams have played hard. I got to give them. They're just young. They have they're basically college teams playing each other.
And that's why I don't have a problem betting either one of these teams plus points.
Yeah.
But there's in the game where they're against each other, your guess is as good as mine.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks for watching, everyone out there. People checking out the show after the fact. Share the show. Go on the Twitter, retweet the show if you think someone might enjoy this. The goal is to grow this show. Look, I don't think anyone will argue. The NBA is not as popular as the NFL or college hoops during March Madness, but the goal is content, and we continue to break every game down daily against the spread, totals, props. Make sure you check the show out every day, noon Eastern, and share the show on Twitter or with someone that you think might enjoy it. Let's move on. Let's get away from this crap show. I can't say the other word. Golden State Warriors at New Orleans. New Orleans laying 3, total 237. We've talked glowingly, I guess not glowingly, we've talked a lot about Blackjack, Golden State's inability to cover road numbers. This group is 13-21 on the road this year. That's second worst in the NBA. They just don't cover very often. Only Cleveland has a worse road record against the number. But I'm zeroing in on a proposition bet here in this game because I don't want to bet on Golden State on the road. And New Orleans is so poor defensively, I have no interest in them either. But one thing I do know is Stephen Curry is on fire. It has been on fire for a long period of time. New Orleans Blackjack are bottom 4 in the NBA in three-point percentage allowed, allowing opponents to shoot 38 attempts per game at over 38%. Not good. Absolutely dreadful, frankly. Mm-hmm. Stephen Curry over his last just 10 games, 46% from 3. He's made 5 of over 5 threes in 7 of 10 games. I'm going to keep playing this. The juice is high. That's the issue with this prop. People are starting to zero in on it, and I'm going to play it one more time here. Okay, I'm going to lay the juice on over 5.5 threes. The good thing about Steph Curry, Blackjack, is he shoots like 15 threes a game. So if he just makes half of them, or 46,
no, just half.
Yeah, but that's what he's doing, 46%.
It's unbelievable what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Right. And again, this is a bad defensive team. Stephen Curry is going to have plenty of opportunities. I will keep saying I'm not going to play this continuously because the whole betting public is starting to zero in on this prop with Curry. I will say this also. If you want to get away from laying juice, one thing I love about FanDuel, I love a lot about FanDuel, but one thing distinctly I love about FanDuel, they have something called a same game parlay. I don't bet parlays much.
That's nice.
But to get away from laying 140-ish on a prop here, Stephen Curry over 5.5 threes, and you parlay that with Steph Curry to score over 35 points. I know it's crazy, but right now, the NBA's moniker is where amazing happens. Every time Steph Curry plays, it's where amazing happens.
Yeah.
He's on fire right now. I see a 41-point effort here with 7 threes. What do you think?
I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm. I think that, when I look at this game, I'm going to play the total here. I'm going to play this under 237. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I think that what you're saying is exactly what's going to happen. Steph is going to go off tonight, but he's going to have to go off because of the injuries that Golden State is dealing with, right? So you've got Wiggins, who's questionable, Pascal's questionable, Damian Lee's questionable, Oubre's out still indefinitely. Like, this team doesn't have a lot in the way of secondary scoring at this point. So Steph has to take that on, and it just so happens to be what New Orleans defends the worst against, right? So all of the formula is there for Steph to have a monster night. My thing is Golden State is, some people may not realize they're a top 10 defense in the NBA. They do play defense.
Yeah.
New Orleans offense is not exactly operating at a high level right now. I don't think the Pelicans score enough to hold up their end of this total. And I don't think that Golden State has enough guys other than Steph to put up a giant number themselves. I think I'm going under 237 for this.
Yeah, I don't hate that, actually. I thought the total was a bit high. As you said, Pelicans, I think, probably struggle against a better defensive team here. But they are so bad on the defensive end. That's my knock. I'm going to just kind of stick with some Curry props here and kind of move on. I don't like either side or total. Kondawani Nyangalu says, awesome show, one of the best online. Thanks, man. Means a lot. Trying to build something. Where are you from, man? Check in. Let us know. Everybody in the chat, we always get a lot of great people in here. I want to hear where you're listening from. Let us know. Next one. Portland at Atlanta. Atlanta laying 2, total 236. I've said before, I'll say it again. Portland has been good to me recently. This team offensively right now has been on fire. I think over the last 6 games, I think they've scored 125 or more in all 6. I could be wrong, but that's just from sheer memory. Atlanta, they get Trae Young back, starting to see some fruits of their labor, continue to do well. He has had some big games recently. Defensively, I thought they looked good against Chicago Saturday night. And good news for Atlanta tonight, get Bogey Bogdanovic back. That's big. Blackjack, I've talked about Atlanta, and one of the issues this group had when Trae Young was out was not only Trae Young was out, but this offense struggled because he was out, Bogdanovic was out, Herter was out. All these guys were out, and they had so many net negatives offensively that they just weren't scoring enough points. But now you have Herter back. You have Bogdanovic back. Trae Young's back. They're all contributing, and it's huge for this team. I'm going to, with bated breath, it's not a best bet for me, but I like everyone back. Portland's on a back-to-back here. Had to travel, obviously.
Yeah. I
like Atlanta here. That would be my lean here on this game. I don't love going against Portland just because offensively, starting 5 is very good for Portland. I will say offensively. And they have issues defensively. I think Atlanta's turned it up on that end as well with these guys back. I'm going to lean Atlanta here, -2.
Yeah, for me, it would be Atlanta or nothing. Portland has just played too much basketball lately. It's second day of a back-to-back, third game in 4 days, fourth game in 5 days. It's a lot of basketball and a lot of travel. And going up against an offense like the Hawks could be a problem for Portland. It would have to be Atlanta or nothing. But again, I don't love laying points with the Hawks. So I'm going to pass this.
Yeah, I will say, though, keep this in mind, and this is a season-long look. Atlanta 19-13 as a favorite this year. They haven't made money. So, and it's not a huge number here even. So
it's not. Portland just scares the hell out of me because Portland can go off offensively any given night. I don't like –
and they play
betting against the Blazers.
And they play a lot of close games. And I'm going to say another thing here. This is -2. Not an ideal number in a game like this. Look, and this is where I think I've kind of been off moving on games overnight, but I wish I would have gotten on this game. I got a great number yesterday with 1.5 with Portland. at that full 2-point number, I have to be up 5 or 6 in the guts of the game to feel comfortable with this one on like a back door or something. It's not an ideal number either. But in a spot, Atlanta looks pretty good. But again, it's not a huge – I'm not hugely into this game or anything, but just a thought. Julian Cesario says, great show. I got Atlanta at -1 last night. Well, there you go. Or Portland, I'm sorry. Yeah, Atlanta, sorry. Yeah, good one. That's a great number. Gabe Tadino, great show. Thanks, man. Nathan Henges, love the show. Listening from Detroit. D-Town, stand up. By the way, speaking of D-Town, I want to bring this up. Blackjack and I are doing a show right now called The Sit Down. It's a Mafia podcast. Go check it out wherever you get your podcast. We're going to do a show revolving around Detroit. I haven't even told Blackjack about this, but I want to do a show on the Hoffa disappearance. Last place Jimmy was seen was in Detroit. We'll talk about Frank Sheeran and whether he's believable or not. So that got me thinking. So thanks for listening, Nathan. If that's something you're interested in, check it out. But let's move on. So we agree, Atlanta, Portland, lean Atlanta, but it's tough just because the number and Portland's playing so well. All right, let's move on. Blackjack originally is from New York. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anyone can notice that by his beard and cowboy hats occasionally, but his hometown. Are you a Knicks fan? Would you say?
I am.
Yeah, I as a Sixer fan, a lot of people hate the Knicks, but I never hated the Knicks, frankly. I've always said that I think basketball is much better with the Knicks being relevant.
True. The Knicks and Sixers haven't really been good at the same time.
Yeah, correct.
In my entire life.
Yes. I used to love those teams back in the day when I was a kid. Charlie Ward, Allen Houston, John Starks, Anthony Mason. Oakley was one of my favorite NBA players, underrated.
Yeah, I never hated the Sixers either. Like I didn't like the Celtics and the Bulls, and the Pacers.
I don't care who you
have the Indiana Pacers.
Sure. I don't care who you are. You can't ever tell me as a basketball player and what he did, you could hate Allen Iverson. I don't know how you could.
No. Allen Iverson was great to watch.
Like he was one of those, and I know from an NBA league standpoint, the league, some people hated him, but as a fan, I don't know how you could hate Allen Iverson. He's one of the universally loved players, I have to say. Like, you can't hate Allen. You just couldn't. Okay, Knicks at Memphis. Memphis laying 3.5, total 219.5. This is an interesting number. I think as we know, I think the Knicks have become a very public team, right? I mean, a lot of people back in the Knicks, they've covered a lot of games. Both these teams, though, very good against the number. We know the Knicks are good defensively. We know Thibodeau is coach of the year. We know Julius Randle's playing at a high level. The problem is everyone knows that. And when you look at this number, why are the Grizzlies a 3.5-point favorite here? Somebody's telling me something here. But I don't want to go against the Knicks. Just going to be honest.
Listen.
I'm gonna say this. I got screwed the other night with the Grizzlies. With that under I played, where Cole Anthony hit that 3 at the buzzer and put the game over the number. Brutal beat. We're getting the exact same number here, but we are getting arguably the best defensive team in the NBA. I don't think the Grizzlies have that run-out opportunity, the fast break stuff. I think the Grizzlies put the brakes on. They have to put the brakes on against the Knicks. I'm going to lean under 220.5. I'll tell you, this card, at least from the games we've talked about, the only games that I absolutely like is that Curry prop stuff. I'm going to lean under 220 here, though. I think this game is first to 110 wins.
I don't disagree with you. I think that that's probably the right side of the total to be on here. But I mean, I'll tell you right now, I'm taking the Knicks on the money line here at plus 130. I get what you're saying, and I think it's easy enough to figure out, right? Like the Knicks are on the second day of a back-to-back. They're having to travel down to Memphis. The Grizzlies, obviously, they have some talent there, right? This isn't a bad basketball team. But, nah, man, this Knicks team is as hot as this team has been in 10 years, and that's not an exaggeration. I mean, they are 9-1 in their last 10. That lone loss coming to Phoenix since they bounced back with 2 blowout wins over the Bulls and the Rockets. And now they're going to Memphis, and they're taking on a Grizzlies team that, quite honestly, isn't a great matchup. This isn't a good matchup for Memphis. The Knicks are going to slow them down, like you said. Memphis doesn't want to slow down, but they're not going to have a choice. They're going to get slowed down by this Knicks team. And I think the Knicks are just going to grind them down into the kind of game that they want to play. Listen, the Knicks are going to struggle against top tier teams in the NBA because they don't have that singular talent. There's going to be a talent gap between the Knicks and the Sixers and the Nets and the Bucks and, those teams. These teams, the Knicks beat these teams. Knicks money line.
Knicks just beat the Memphis Grizzlies back on the 9th of April. They've won 11 of 12 overall. So, again, not a bad spot to be in here. And I don't disagree with you. I don't want to go against the Knicks here. The number's a little weird, but I think this kind of is screeched to a halt. I think the Knicks win like 108, 105 or something like that. That's what I see for this game. So I'm going to lean under, and I'm going to lean with the Knicks. I agree with you. Couple comments here. Gary Nicotine. Interesting name.
Nice.
He's from North Battleford, Saskatchewan, Canada. Blackjack. Interesting. I have something I want to talk about with this area, actually. Weirdly enough, I'm a factoid. I like reading. I like that kind of stuff. Do you know what McLean's is? Do you know what that is?
McLean's in Canada, like store?
McLean's is like a news magazine.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, every year they rank Canada's most dangerous places. Would you believe in 2018, North Battleford, Saskatchewan is the most dangerous place in Canada?
I mean, that's got to be one of those like per capita deals, right? Because like, how many people are in North Battleford, Saskatchewan?
13,888.
All right. So, I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, you play around with the percentages, and yeah, I get it, but I don't know. I drove through.
I'll be honest, like, when this guy mentioned that, I'm thinking, like, that seems like the place that I wouldn't think there would be crime. But
nah, not really. But, who knows, man? Who knows?
Shout out to Gary, living in a dangerous.
And how about this guy listening from Hershey, Pennsylvania, right down the road from you? I was there last week.
Shout out Ian Shanneman, my man. Love the show. Appreciate that, bro. Charles Underwood says Black Jizzle.
Boom.
How about that? Sam Calmer says Grizzly Revenge.
I don't think so, Sammy.
Yeah, I can't agree.
You're stepping in front of a freight train right now.
Yes, correct. And that's a great point you made about they beat teams like this. That's a good point. Yeah. Knicks are going to struggle when it matters most against teams that are better than them because they don't have the best talent. But
they don't.
Okay, next one. This is going to be a play for me. Next game, this is the best bet. Sixers at Chicago. Sixers laying 5.5. Totals 211.5. We've talked time and time again about the Bulls. Without Zach LaVine, this offense is dreadful. I mean, they're just not good. They've scored 105 or less in 4 of the last 5 games. Now you're playing the second best defensive team in the NBA. Here's the thing, okay? Zach LaVine will be back any day now. And this is very dependent on LaVine. But all in all, the thought is that he is not going to play tonight. But again, who knows with LaVine? I'm leaning on the Chicago Bulls team total under. I don't think this team can score 105 or more against the Sixers. I just don't. I think their offense is plodding. It's bad. And they really have no options right now. We know how suffocating at times the Sixers are defensively. And I'll just continue to ride things that I think are profitable. I will also say I was waiting for this to come out, and up until now, I hadn't seen it. And I don't even have a number yet. But I'm going to continue to back Seth Curry probably from a point standpoint. We'll see if the markets adjust because he has been very good recently. He's really hitting a stride. He's really getting looks. He's playing a lot of minutes. I think you continue to ride Seth Curry in the prop markets. There's no prop market yet for Seth Curry, but I'm leaning on the Bulls team total under here at 103.5. It's a low number, but the Sixers continue to play hard in every game. I think you're going to shoot for a better defensive effort tonight. I'm a little worried about the overtime last night, but I think they kind of bang it out tonight and play better defensively. I'm hoping Levine doesn't play, which I don't think he will.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this game to me is a pass just because we don't know about Levine, right? I mean, I agree with you. I don't expect him to play, but I don't think he's going to play. And then on the other side, the Sixers having had the overtime game, the back-to-back, it just is a little too much for me to make a play on this. But, I mean, I think the team total under is probably spot on. The Bulls haven't cracked 100 in the last 3 games. And that was against the Hawks, Bucks, and Knicks. So, I don't know that tonight's the night.
According to Casey Johnson, the Bulls insider for NBC Sports Chicago, he says the Bulls still list Levine as in health and safety protocols, but have upgraded his status from out to doubtful versus Sixers, i.e. he's not playing. Billy Donovan is listed Monday as a potential clarity for a return timeline. He's not playing in this game.
No.
I'm going under 103.5. But I will say, last Monday, Bradley Beal, it was thought that he was not going to play at all, and he played and scored like 45 points. So I'm going to, with bated breath, I'm taking this. I could get screwed here, and he plays, and they score 110 easily. But even if he played, I think it would be limited. Coming off COVID protocol is not ideal. By the way, I saw yesterday, Blackjack, I think ABC reported on the national game, 60% of the league has been vaccinated. Did you hear that? That's pretty.
I did not, but that's fantastic.
Yeah, I guess at least 60% have gotten the shot at least. So that's pretty impressive. Mm-hmm. Not that anyone has any issue, but why not just do it? Okay. So yeah, I'm going to go under 103.5 for the Bulls. I just think this offense sucks. All right. A couple more games here, and then we'll open it up. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to ask them in the chat. Denver, this should be a good game. Denver at the LOL Lakers. The LO Lakers. Lakers have been poor recently. Denver laying 3.5, total 214.5. Blackjack, Lakers, tell me where they are in the standings. Do you know offhand?
6th.
6th. No, they're actually 7th now.
Wait, but they have a tiebreaker.
Oh, true. Good call. Good point.
Nailed it.
Either way, this is
not good.
A rough season for the Lakers. And I'm going to keep saying this, Blackjack. A lot of people knocked me saying the Suns have no shot. They're not winning the title. Da-da-da-da-da. You know who the Suns are going to play in round 1 of the playoffs if they started today? Memphis. Lakers playing a hot Jazz. I mean, they're going to have to battle it out.
I'm with you. For my money, I would take Phoenix and Utah over everyone else out west to come out.
And by the way, you know who's turning into a player people are starting to hate? Who do you think I'm going to say?
I don't know.
LeBron.
I did hate the whining about the play-in tournament last night.
I mean, are people starting to just kind of be annoyed with this guy? Like, he sucks.
He does not suck, but.
No, he sucks from a personality standpoint.
I'm tired of the complaining. He's always complaining about something. Like, dude.
That's what I'm saying. It's always, it's funny with him because he's just like that rat Coach Krzyzewski. If it benefits him, he won't say anything about it. But as soon as he's on the negative side of it,
well, Jeff, that's unfortunately a large chunk of the population.
Right.
There's most people are self-interested most of the time. So
it's like with LeBron. Well, the playoff situations now don't benefit me, so I hate them. Fire that guy. Yeah. Hey, LeBron.
How about this? Don't be the 7 seed.
Thank you. Exactly. And another thing with LeBron, like, I'm getting sick of his, and look, we've all done it. Like, fire that guy for his opinion. Like, we don't actually want him to get fired. But you're talking about a billionaire by the end of his career, LeBron James, probably, right?
He's on track.
This is a guy that over the last 2 weeks has called for the firing of multiple people that are just regular people with jobs. Hey, LeBron, shut the hell up. Why don't you just play? Shut up.
Yeah.
Do your thing, man.
And by the way, this play-in tournament was ratified by your players' union. So this wasn't a shock to anybody. Again, your team started 21-6
Yeah.
and currently is in a tie for 7th.
Exactly.
That's on you guys.
Yeah.
Figure it out and move on.
Right.
Or
Couldn't
don't
agree
figure
more.
it out. Don't care.
Yeah, it's all about you're in 7th or 6th, wherever, and that's why you're in the play-in tournament. It's not because of the NBA doesn't like you. It's no, you didn't play well enough. All right. Here's what we will say, and what I will say. Blackjack, I came out of my bedroom today. TV was on. 10 o'clock, first take starts. First story. Lakers, they're not playing well. Everybody knows right now the Lakers are not playing well. There's a little thing in the NBA called recency bias. Okay. And right now, the recency bias is the Lakers lose last night to the LOL Lakers. LeBron's unhappy. Everybody's mad. They're not playing well. In 2 games this year against the Lakers, Nikola Jokic, 18 points a game. Not great. Denver, I know, is more trustworthy. But the Lakers are better defensively. I think for the most part, they can handle Nikola Jokic. I lean Lakers here. I think this is a good spot to jump on the train that not a lot of people are on. This is still a very good defensive team. This is still a team with plenty of great players. I think they pick it up tonight and beat a hot Denver team. But it is not it. I'm going to tell you why it's not a best bet for me, though. I can't seem to get Denver right.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there on Denver. This is a game where, realistically, Denver has been probably too hot, like 9-1 in their last 10 without Jamal Murray. Like, they've probably been a little too good for their own good of late, and the Lakers have probably been a little too bad. So you're right.
Point.
This is kind of the leveling spot, right? My problem is I don't know. I don't trust either one of these teams, right? Like, that's my issue is I don't trust Denver to stay hot against LeBron and Anthony Davis. And I also don't trust the Lakers to just, come out here and dominate this thing. Like, yeah, LeBron James should come out pissed off tonight. Do I trust him to do that? No, I don't. I think the play on this would have been under 218 if you could have got 218 before that thing plummeted. Because I do think, like you said, the Lakers are a good defensive team, and the Nuggets somehow have gotten better defensively. It's not good, but it's better. And the Lakers do a good job slowing Jokic down. So I think under 218 would have given you value. It's sitting at 214.5 right now. I'm just not playing that.
LeBron James commenting on coming back early. He says, I don't want to say I came back too early, but at the end of the day, I had to test it out to see where it was. He's questionable tonight. If you're LeBron James, it would be absolutely gutless to not play tonight. You got to play.
I'll go you one better. You got to play every game from here on out.
Yes, you've got to play. And look, this is what LeBron is good at. He is very good at shutting people up. Okay, so come back. Beat the Nuggets tonight on national TV. Bingo. Maybe last night was a throwaway game. I don't know. They didn't play well after the first quarter. That was ugly from the Lakers.
They just haven't played well. I mean, they're not playing good basketball.
Sam Colmer says, haha, you guys are great together. Love the show from Toronto. Shout out to Toronto. Love it. One of the best beats in the history of hip-hop is 5 a.m. in Toronto from Drake. One of the best beats ever. Love Toronto. I've got a
favorite city. My favorite city in the world.
Really? Favorite? Oh shit.
Yep, Toronto.
I got to get up there. It looks beautiful. It looks awesome. I've never been to Canada, so awesome. Blackjack Fletcher says it is the best city in the. Did you say world?
It is my favorite city in the world. Yeah,
favorite. How about that?
It is. It's all the good parts of New York without any of the bad parts.
Right. Sounds good, actually. All right, final game. And it is a best bet for me. San Antonio at Utah. Utah laying 7, total 220.5. I don't understand this line at all. I mean, maybe I'm just stupid. I don't know. But why are the Jazz 7-point favorites without Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell? I don't understand it. This is a Jazz team that's really struggled, at least even over the last month. You look over the last month, Blackjack, Jazz 6-11 against the spread. They failed to cover an 8 of 11 overall. This is a team really struggling. San Antonio 20-12 as dogs this year. I know San Antonio is coming off a rough loss last night, but one thing I like about the Spurs, this is a group that are very young. They've got some veteran leadership. They're well coached. They're great on the road, as I said, against the number. Keldon Johnson continues to play well. Lonnie Walker's been awesome. Shout out Reading, PA. Really like what I'm seeing from this team. They play hard. They're good against the number. And I've talked about it. The Jazz have too many net negatives offensively. Royce O'Neal gives you nothing offensively. Rudy Gobert, occasionally gives you something, but not normally. Niang, not normally. They're really on the backs right now of Bogdanovich and Jordan Clarkson. That's really what this team is. You hope Joe Ingles is hot from three, and that's how you win. And luckily, the Jazz got a good fourth quarter, but it wasn't a good fourth quarter against the Raptors. You look at that game the other night, Blackjack. They win 106-102. You know why they won 106-102? Because the Raptors had a 13-point fourth quarter. Jazz didn't do a whole lot, though. They only had 21 points.
Yeah. This
team should not be laying 7 points. It could be a trap. I don't care. It could be a game where off of back-to-back, the Raptors the Spurs get punished because they're tired. I don't know. I'm going to take the 7 here, though. I just don't think without Conley and Mitchell, there's just not a ton of talent on this team to really win by double digits. I'm leaning with the 7.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not playing this game. I love the Jazz. I think they're great. I love their ancillary pieces. The problem is Conley and Mitchell are the guys that make the engine go, right? So without them, now you're asking guys to step up and be the focal point of an offense that have no business being the focal point of an offense. So I get it, right? The Spurs, to me, are still, yes, we know that they're well coached and they play hard, but they have been inconsistent this year. I don't love the Spurs here, especially off the back-to-back. I really don't. To me, this game is a total pass. I have no interest in the Jazz until these guys are healthy again, and really anything other than that is just. I feel like I'd be taking a guess on betting the Jazz. Listen, taking 7.5 with San Antonio, if you're going to bet this game, that's the way to do it. I mean, you can't lay the points with Utah without Conley or Mitchell.
Yeah, DeMar DeRozan continues to be kind of the of course, the leader of this team. Look, the Spurs also. I mean, for the Jazz, like you're right there at the top of the West. You're kind of maintaining without these guys. Spurs have a lot to play for, man. I mean, this team continues to be right there. I mean, they need every game. 7 is too many points to me. It just is. And I think you made a good point about when you have 2 stars out, particularly guards, other players now need to dictate what goes on, and that kills your depth. It's just not ideal. I think, frankly, weirdly enough, I think this is the best play on the board, in my opinion. But I can understand how things could get difficult here. All right, let's best bet it here, wrap it up. For me, I'm going to go Steph Curry over 5.5 threes. I'm going to continue to hang on that ledge. Bulls under 103.5 team total. I can't see them scoring a ton of points against the Sixers without LaVine. They haven't done it, so why were they going to do it tonight? And I'll go Spurs +7. I will say, two of my 3 best bets are involving 2 teams that played overtime last night. Not ideal, but I want to do it to myself. Blackjack, what do you like here?
All right. I've got the Washington Wizards -3.5, under 237 in the Warriors Pelicans, and the New York Knicks money line +130.
Like it. Yeah. I'm liking more and more that Knicks game. Good luck on that one. I love this headline on ESPN.com too with the Lakers. As Lakers season unravels, LeBron rips playing game. Oh man, it's so true. Blackjack, what do you have going on right now? Let us know. Let the listeners know where they can find you.
I've got Always Be Racing live at 3 p.m. Eastern every Friday with Danielle Monet and Chase Sessoms over at ABR. Obviously, over at SBR, providing hockey analysis every day. So, I'm all over the place, brother.
Love that. Yeah, make sure you check it out. Blackjack's horse racing stuff. There's a lot of good stuff with that. And is doing his thing. All right, Good stuff, Blackjack. Thanks as always for joining us. We'll see you later in the week for another appearance here on the Hoops Betting Hour. Thanks, everybody, for watching the show. Simple, easy, job done. Let's keep doing some good things in the NBA. Had a couple of good days here over the last 3. Let's have another good one today. If you've enjoyed the content, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you're new around here, like the show. Make sure you're checking out what we're doing here at PicksWise as we head into the NBA playoffs. I'm the big man on campus. He's Blackjack Fletcher. We'll see you tomorrow. We're here every day, noon Eastern, PicksWise YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. See you Tuesday here on the show.